Hi everyone, happy Friday. This is Mrs. Tevis-Finn live from room 114. So this is our first in a series for Reconstruction. This is part one, known as the aftermath of the Civil War. So I'd like you guys to turn to your guided notes. It's just one page. And under number one it says the big idea of this unit. So I'd like you guys to follow along with me. Let's first just kind of look at some of these pictures together. Take a look at the battlefields, some of the cities. This is actually Charleston, South Carolina, in ruins. And massive starvation on the right is a prisoner of war. And then also some political cartoons of some of the food riots that happened in the South during the war. So what you want to fill in there, guys, where it says by 1865 is really the South lay in ruins. Put down for the Southern economy, the next bullet, that it really had collapsed. Money was worthless, the land had no value. Put down for their transportation network, guys, that it was destroyed. Right? Bridges and railroads were hit by the war. And most importantly, guys, put down for the next thing, their system of agriculture was completely undermined with 4 million freed slaves. So there really was an overwhelming need to replace this slave labor with what? And I put ... So that is the question mark. What do we do now for labor in the South? So my question is, how do we as a country move on after the Civil War? So, many people assume this is a picture of the freed slaves, of the blacks, but this is actually a white family, trying to rebuild their homes. So you guys can put down some Southerners, were bitter and sought revenge for what the North did. But then you guys also can put down that next line, well, many just really wanted to put down rebuild their lives, and here's a picture of that. They just had to start over. Alright guys, please consider the massive death, destruction, and despair that followed the war. There are so many pictures you guys can look up. I just chose this for it's so bleak and sad. The death toll in the North, you guys can put down, was 360,000. And for the South, you guys can put down 258,000. That is just a massive annihilation of our own countrymen. So I would like you guys to make a prediction, right? So I drew a line there for you guys to fill in your prediction. What do you think will be a major issue that the North and South face after the war? So there's no wrong answer there, guys. I just want you to kind of look ahead and think about, what are we going to be facing as a country? Will the North and South be able to agree? And what issue do you think they're going to have a problem with? And another kind of thinking question, we talked about this in our journals on Friday, but I want you guys to put down here, how will Reconstruction affect African Americans? I have this question, there's 4 million freed slaves. Here's a picture of a freed slave family. Please look at it. And there, you can describe it. You can try to figure out what are these people going to do now that they do not have the life of slavery. So guys, let's go on to number 3, Lincoln's plan. So, he's a very wise politician. His goal for this time period is to reunite the country. That's his main goal. He does not want to, anger anyone. He wants to heal our country's wounds. He does not seek revenge. So guys, under Lincoln's plan, the first thing you can fill in is he was very careful not to alienate, right, or anger the South. You guys next can put down, he wanted to grant amnesty. Amnesty means pardon to all Southerners who took an oath of loyalty. So you can fill that in for all Southerners who took an oath of loyalty. And so guys, once 10% of voters took this oath, their state could organize the government and get back to being part of the Union. So this is known as the 10% plan. And we'll be talking about another group next week, but I do want you guys to know there's another group called the Radical Republicans. You can fill that in. And they really think Lincoln's plan is not tough enough on the South. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. Alright guys, the following 3 amendments I'd like you to put down in your guided notes. So these were all accomplished during the Reconstruction era. And the 13th Amendment states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist anywhere in the United States. So simply speaking, it abolishes slavery. This was done, remember, with the Emancipation Proclamation during the Civil War. Remember, many freed slaves did join the Army during the war. All right, guys, for the 14th Amendment, in simple terms, guys, it guarantees African Americans' rights as citizens. So it says here, no state can infringe upon those rights. And I put example of it right here, guys, your Bill of Rights. So from US 1, I hope you guys know some of these articles. A big one here would be, no search and seizure, speedy trial, right, for a trial with a jury. So these are things that now blacks, guys, have the same rights. And so with African Americans being seen as legal citizens, the 15th Amendment gives them the right to vote. So it says, shall not be denied on the basis of race, color, or previous conditions of servitude. And another prediction you guys can think about, and we'll discuss it in our groups, is how do you think the white South will react to these amendments, especially the 15th? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen when these get passed? Okay, and let's go on to our last, this will be number 5, guys, the Freedmen's Bureau. So what is it? Here's a picture of the office of the Freedmen's Bureau in Memphis, Tennessee. So this is, guys, put down part of the War Department. And its task is pretty huge. It's to feed and clothe. Hold on, I just lost my screen. To feed and clothe the war refugees. So it issues up to, you guys can put down 30,000 rations a day, preventing mass starvation. It also helps freed slaves find work. It negotiated their contracts because many did not know how to read, right? So they would be taken advantage of. So the Freedmen's Bureau helped them negotiate their work. It also established special courts. Here's one pictured. To deal with problems between workers and planters. Lastly, education is a priority. The Freedmen's Bureau, you guys can put down, built schools, paid the teachers, and lastly established colleges to train black teachers. And here's a picture of one of the schools set up during the Reconstruction era. This is by the Freedmen's Bureau. Alright, guys, I'd like to leave you with this picture. So, we were talking a lot about what happens to the freed slaves and the Freedmen's Bureau, training black teachers, but this is, showing that people really did have to start over. All of your possessions here are on the wagon, and you just need to, find new homes, start over from scratch, very desolate, very bleak. And so this should kind of give you an idea of what it was like in the South after the Civil War. This is Mrs. Tevis-Finn signing off. I hope I see you guys all with these guided notes on Monday.